Shabbat Shalom, Hampstead Garden Suburb Synagogue. Now, we had a lot of excitement the other week with our Norrisly Purim spiel, but of course the next piece of excitement is the great interview that's going to take place this Monday on Oprah, her interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Meghan and Harry. Now, we're all waiting for this big interview. What will happen? Will Meghan and Harry bring down the firm? Will it just relaunch Meghan's acting career? Or will they have become victims of their own undoing while Oprah reaps all the rewards of tens of millions of viewers globally? In this week's Parshat of Tissa, we read about the most heinous crime that our nation committed. We had just received the Torah, and then we're worshipping the golden calf. What happened? How did that happen, that downfall, so quickly? So we left Egypt, and God tells us, you are going to be my chosen nation. Now that sounds wonderful. You shall be for me royal priests and a holy nation, Mamlechet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh, a nation of royalty, princes and princesses of God, freedom to be masters over our own destiny. How incredible. What an extraordinary feeling for a nation that was previously enslaved. And then he gives us the Torah, and there are all of these rules about how we need to conduct ourselves, and it doesn't sound so exciting anymore. Do this, don't do that. And so as soon as we get the opportunity to cast off the yoke, and it presents itself when Moshe says he'll be back within 40 days and he doesn't descend from the mountain, that's it. We are done. We check out. We don't need this nation of royalty business. And we build a golden calf. And God is enraged. I gave you this opportunity, and what did you do? He says he's going to destroy us. Moshe pleads with God, and we are saved from annihilation. We stand before God, the Torah says, without our crowns on. What crowns are we talking about? Rashi says that prior to receiving the Torah, every single Israelite received two crowns. One crown for Nasa and one crown for Nishma. When God offered us the Torah, we said, Nasa v'Nishma, we will do it and we'll learn about it afterwards. We had two crowns. But now once we started learning about it, we no longer wanted those crowns. We stood with those crowns in our arms, no longer on our heads. God says to Moshe, you know what? I will not destroy the children of Israel, but they're on their own now. It's time to remove your crown, says God. So here's my question. What do you mean? The Torah says that they had already removed their crowns. Why does God tell them it's time to remove your crowns? And what happens next? Did they already have them off? The Torah says, Vayitnatzlu, and the people did something with their crown. Vayitnatzlu, they did something, whatever that word Vayitnatzlu means, that's what they did with their crowns after God said, remove your crown. I want to offer you three opinions amongst the commentators as to what Vayitnatzlu means. What exactly happened? According to Nachmanides, God said, remove your crown, and we removed our crowns. And when it says in the verse that we had removed our crowns, verses don't work in chronological order. And the verse's reference to removing the crowns happened after God said, remove your crown. That's one answer. A second answer given by the Ibn Ezra says that the word Vayitnatzlu is a reflexive verb. The crowns were removed from us. We stood there meekly before God, having kind of held onto our crowns. God said, remove those crowns and I'm taking them away from you. You are no longer in that same status of royalty. And then I want to give you a third answer. The third answer appears in the Midrash of Rabbi Shlomo Ashtarok. He says, you know what the word lehitnatzel means? And this is its usage in modern Hebrew. To apologize, to feel remorse, to feel regret. The children of Israel stood before God and said, we were wrong. We regret our actions with the golden calf. Vayitnatzlu. They apologized and they had their crowns restored. Since then, we have worn our crowns with pride. We're happy to accept the Torah. What's happened with Meghan and Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Meghan was presented with an opportunity to be a royal princess. And so you can imagine, every little girl wants to grow up and be a princess. You think about it, you imagine it, you dream about it. And then you actually enter the role, and you realize that it's not all the glitz and glamour that you thought it would be. There's an extraordinary amount of burden, structure, regulation, and responsibility that defines the role and accompanies the role. So Meghan and Harry essentially removed their crowns of privilege and responsibility, and they said, we don't want to be a part of this. This is just too restrictive for us. And so the palace says, in response, remove your crown. But what do you mean? They had already removed their crowns. Well, they had removed their crowns to a certain extent. They had removed their crowns of responsibility. But now the palace said, if you do that, you must in turn remove your crown of all of the honor and privilege. In other words, make that decision or we will formally remove your royal status, all of your honors and royal roles. At that point, they had two choices: accept the decree and remove the crown, or the choice of Rabbi Shlomo: bite the bullet, apologize, lehit natzel, and accept that the role comes with certain parameters, but that the opportunities that the role affords far outweigh the challenges and restrictions. That was their choice. My friends, you are all part of a nation of royalty. The Almighty has called us, Mamlechet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh, a royal nation of priests. You are princes. You are princesses. Now, some of us look at the position and all we see are rules and regulations. Do this, don't do that. But that's not what royalty is about. It's an unparalleled opportunity for greatness. Sure, there are guidelines and instructions when you're a prince or a princess of the supreme King of Kings. But it's only to point you in the right direction, to achieve your very best for yourself and for future generations of princes and princesses. My blessing to you is that you appreciate the opportunity of divine royalty that you've been given, and that you always understand that the rules and procedures are there to bring out the very best in you. Shabbat Shalom.